How's it going? Are you doing alright? Or are you doing just okay? Well, if not, we're gonna ramble because somehow it's July and I don't know how it's July. In fact, I don't know how it's even a few days into July when I'm recording this. June was a blur to me. It just was. I don't really remember it happening. I have just been working in June, late May, June. I, for whatever reason, decided to take on 4 different freelance clients. I don't know why. I wasn't planning on it. It just kind of happened. So I haven't been uploading as much, or I haven't been filming as much, I should say, to upload. Two of them were bands. One of them was a political candidacy, like stuff for that, and then one was a friend who was starting a blog. But it's a lot of work, while also holding down a job and trying to do your own work and your own creative stuff, as well as play disc golf every day, because I started playing froth, and I should say I started getting obsessed with it. I haven't done a sport since high school when I swam, so it's a sport, but it's also really just golf for hippies. It's just a bunch of people on a mountain getting high and throwing discs into baskets, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It is what makes it fun. It's like relaxed golf. It's like a relaxing sport that's also a workout, but has the addicting qualities of mini golf and the fun qualities of collecting shit, because there's like hundreds of thousands of different types of discs. So many. I've been painting a lot as well, and I think I'm going to actually show you some of the work I've been on. So, okay, so these are unfinished. I don't know if the lighting, you'll even be able to see it right. I think I've posted some. Yeah, it's crap lighting, so. I have a purple light going right now, so the colors aren't going to be completely accurate. But that's one of the smaller ones I was doing. And then this one I will finish one day. I just don't feel like... Oh, this is going to be impossible to say. I don't know if you can see that. It's a terrible... is it raining now? Sorry, I'm really distracted. But that one's a big painting, and I don't feel like finishing yet. Let me go get the 2 I did finish recently. Okay, they're still a little wet. They're still very wet. One I just kind of finished today. I don't know if I'm done with it. And then this one is still drying too. But I've been just doing a different technique for these, which is a more wet on wet and just faster. The lighting here is shit. I'm sorry. It's actually very saturated and a lot more green and brown, but you can't really see it. And that's still wet. And then this one is drying. I don't know if this one you'll see either, but again, crappy lighting and whatever. I have paint all over my thumbnail, so let's wipe it off on this. Looks like poop. Anyways, so when I'm not making videos, that's what I'm doing. Or, I've been playing Skyrim. Obviously, that's all I do with my life if I'm not doing art or other things is Skyrim. Just because I want to play a game and just relax, you know? And I have the new Monster Hunter DLC downloaded, and and ready to go, but I haven't started it yet because I need to like get into a Monster Hunter mood, and once I'm in that mood, I'm in that mood. And right now my brain's like, hey, no, you should play Skyrim because you never did a second full playthrough with the Anniversary Edition, or you never did a first full playthrough with the Anniversary Edition. And believe it or not, it's actually like a decent amount of creation clip stuff that kind of changes the game. Like I'm doing a weird dungeon right now where I found a dwarven horse that I can build, and never done that before. Like there's a lot of new stuff that I've never seen before, and I haven't really done like a real Skyrim playthrough since at least before the Series X came out, and that's what I'm playing it on. It also looks for a like non-modded. Sometimes I'll mod it, and I don't know. I want to get the achievements. I haven't gotten all of them. But when you mod it on the Series X, it looks phenomenal. But unmodded also looks like it doesn't look like a game that came out in 2011. It looks good. It looks at least like a 2015 game, which is cool. But I think really in reality, it's just that like for my entire life, the Elder Scrolls games, really starting with Oblivion because that's what I think I was. When did that come out? That came out like right when the 360 came out, sort of. It was like 2007 it came out. And I remember getting Oblivion when it first came out, and it wasn't rated M yet, so it was rated T. That quickly changed. And I think I had 3 discs of it because it just kept breaking, or like Xbox kept breaking them. And then from there, I played Morrowind before Skyrim came out. And then I've played a stupid amount of Skyrim since it's come out, and I've realized that, like, we really haven't had a first-person RPG, fantasy RPG since Skyrim. And that's insane when you think about it. Like, there's not been one first-person fantasy RPG in over 10 years. Like, oh, and you know, you'll say like, oh, there's Breath of the Wild, there was Elden Ring, it's like, no, those are not first-person fantasy RPGs. I'm talking strictly first-person, or the option of both, like Bethesda games give you. There just hasn't been. And personally, I like playing the first-person RPGs over third-person any day of the week. Mainly because when I want to get lost in the world, and it is so much easier to get lost into a world when you actually understand the scale of it, and you can like see in first person, like, wow, that's a mountain, or that's a dragon, that thing's pretty big. For me personally, and it doesn't mean I don't play in third person. Every now and then when I'm using archery, I'll switch to third person. What else have I been doing? I've been reading a lot. I've been doing a lot of reading. And by reading, I mean listening to either a lot of audiobooks or reading my Kindle. I'm weird. I go through phases of like I have books in front of me right now. I have a typography book that I need to, I read this in college, but I need to reread it just because I don't remember anything about it. And I was working on logos, and I was like, shit, I don't remember how to do like custom type stuff, and I don't. But it helped a little bit. But I gotta read that. This, I think I showed you. I never finished reading this, but I kind of understood what it was going for. Just like a lighting book for drawing. And then I have. Gonna have to cut that out. Gonna have to cut that out. And I have that makes some cool tapping sounds. This was my music theory textbook by my professor. Source. That is old now, very old. The fun thing about ADHD, if you don't like really solidify things in your brain, or if your brain's just not too interested in it, then you just don't care. And like I have a degree in music technology and production. never used. I'm an artist. Classic college experience, not actually using the degree you paid for, but going into something else. Because in reality, choosing what you want to do for the rest of your life at 18 is the stupidest thing in the world. If you don't know, sorry, I'm distracted. If you don't know what you want to do with your life and you're trying to figure out what college you should go to, if you're watching this video and you're younger, don't be afraid to take a year off. Don't be afraid to go to community college to see if there's what you like. I started off in game design. I left that school. I went to music. I graduated. Couldn't find a job because all the studios closed. Went back and got a degree in graphic design, and then that's what I do now. Because I probably should have done art all along. Look how bad my fingers got this. It was white. It's covered in paint now. Yeah, so I was like starting to reread my music theory textbook I think it's really important to reintroduce yourselves and re-educate yourselves on fundamentals of anything. Like, for instance, the shading book and the music book. Specifically, if you're trying to just actually want to get better at those things, you know, I wasn't diagnosed with ADHD until last year, so I'm 27, which is a lot to deal with. But reading for me was always hard, and paying attention in school was always hard, and actually caring about education was very difficult for me, to the point where I really didn't until now, years later. So, although I remember some stuff in all of these, I think it's really important to reintroduce yourself and redo a lot of, connections in your brain to solidify that knowledge. I also finally finished the Dom and Pada. That was great, but it just took me a bit to finish it. I re-listened to the Bitcoin Standard because I like to I'm pulling up my audiobooks right now. Anyways, I had a tangent. I wasn't reading real books. I was using my Kindle and audiobooks just because I was doing other stuff. So, going through my smart library here. I've listened to the Bitcoin Standard again for like the millionth time. Something called Money by Jacob Goldstein. Another blockchain book. Understanding the Brain. And I'm currently listening to After Buddhism. Miracles of Mindfulness. And some short stories by Muriel Spark, just because I wanted to get some fiction going. But After Buddhism is really interesting because it's like a very long, it's kind of like a modern take on like how can we use Buddhism in the modern age, and like what do we have to change, and how does it relate to modern issues and stuff. So I don't know, very interesting. That's kind of all I've been doing. It's been a crazy, I don't know, it feels like every other month the world gets stupider and stupider, we keep moving backwards, but at the same time, in my personal life, I'm moving forward, and I think I've been trying to stay off social media as much as I can. I've been trying to stay off my phone as much as I can. Because when you get out of that habit of constantly trying to see what's going on, either with your friends, your family, or just keeping up with the world news, and I've talked about this in past videos, but humans have never been this connected before, ever, in the history of humanity. In the history of, history of hominids, people, the idea that we can literally get any news, any information that we want at the tip of our fingerprints, have only been around for the past really 10, 15, 20 years, when the internet really took off. Humanity as we know it has been around 200,000, 300,000 years. So, we have never been hyper-connected. We're not evolved to be that yet. So, the constant feeling of overwhelm and depression and anxiety that I think a lot of the general public get, and what have I've noticed in myself, putting a lot of phone time, or internet time I should say, out, whether that be social media or just in general browsing, really, really helps with your mental health. The idea that ignorance is bliss is stupid, but also very true. And I'm not saying don't keep up with the world, don't be upset with things that are going on, but you have to take care of your brain. And it is not healthy to be constantly upset, constantly angry at the world. You have to shut off and do the things you like and get back to a center, middle path, like the Buddha says. Because if you're not, and you're not in your right mind, you can't possibly fight for the future. You really can't. Anger gets us nowhere. But understanding and love and peace do. But the understanding portion, and the empathy, and the compassion, and I don't know, it just, all of that, I think, is more important than control. And I don't know, it just, every other day, I retreat further into being a hermit, because I would rather just be alone in the woods, painting, and maybe having a dog, and chilling for the rest of my life. And I would be fine with that. It's weird how your wants change in life. I don't know. I haven't really checked what the age range of my viewership is, but I know it's majority males. Which, females, I don't think I'm very male-oriented. I think I'm pretty neutral here. So, hey, not sure why it's such a high male viewership, but that's fine. I don't give a crap who watches this, as long as you are a nice, cool person and chill. I don't remember what I was saying, to be honest. Oh, how our wants in life change, Like, I wanted to be famous like everyone does. As a kid, as a child, I wanted to be a scientist and an astronaut. Then I wanted to be a musician in a band for most of my life. Then I wanted to be an actor as well. I did acting for a while. But music was always my main thing, so I did follow that for a bit. And then I wanted to be an artist and a game designer, and now I want to live in the woods with a dog and be alone. Like, my want to be known has gone from here to leave me alone territory, I don't think it's healthy to put people on pedestals. I don't think it's healthy to worship people. I don't think it's healthy to have parasocial relationships, which is a big issue with lonely people. Specifically, I think the statistics are lonely white men, to be honest. Parasocial relationships are not healthy. Like, for instance, you do not know me, even though you know me pretty well. I do not know you, even though I am here for you no matter what. But that does not mean that we are connected in any way. I am simply a host, and you are a viewer. I am a talker, and you are a listener. I am here to help you, but I cannot help you if you do not want to help yourself. And I am not, I don't know, like, I do this for me. I can't be there for you. So I hope that the lessons I talk about in these videos you can use. But I see it a lot, I never have called my channel like family or our channel, because I think it promotes like an unhealthy relationship between viewers and the creator. And it doesn't really, I don't know, that's just what I'm seeing currently on the internet, and I could be extremely wrong, so don't take my word for it. I'm just a random bald dude who forgot to shave his head, so you can see he's balding now, with a beard, tapping on shit in a microphone and talking to you about my life. Anyways, that's a ramble and a half. So, that's a ramble and a half. And I will see you all on the next video. If you like this, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube nonsense, and thank you so much for watching. Good night.